Hook, the mystery of time you never agreed to sell. What if the most valuable thing you own was already sold? Without your permission, not your house, not your savings, not even your labor today, but your future labor. Every hour you haven't worked yet, every paycheck you haven't earned, every year of effort you assumed belonged to you.
Somehow.
It's already been priced, packaged, borrowed against, and traded. Here's the mystery. If money is supposed to represent value already created, how did financial systems begin using value that doesn't exist yet? And why does nearly every government on Earth owe more money than it can ever realistically repay, without decades of future work from people not even born yet? Tonight, we're not talking about inflation, interest rates, or national debt in isolation. We're talking about how central banking monetized time itself and quietly turned the future labor of entire populations into collateral. Setting the stage when money was tied to reality for most of human history, money had limits. Gold had to be mined. Silver had to be refined, coins had weight. Paper notes were claims on something real. You could debase currency, yes, but only slowly and usually visibly. Then came banks. Early banks didn't create money out of nothing. They stored it. Gold went in. Receipts came out. Lending existed, but it was constrained by reserves and trust. This all changed when governments realized something dangerous. Whoever controls money controls time. The key figures weren't villains in cloaks. They were policymakers, economists, and central bankers trying to solve real problems: wars, depressions, instability. But every solution carried a trade-off. That trade-off was the future. Origins, the first sale of tomorrow. The origin of monetized time begins with government borrowing. Kings borrowed to fund wars. Republics borrowed to build infrastructure. At first, debt was temporary. Borrow, win, repay. But modern states discovered something revolutionary. Debt didn't need to be repaid quickly if it could be rolled over indefinitely. The creation of permanent national debt changed everything. In 1694, the Bank of England was founded to finance war through government bonds. Investors bought claims on future tax revenue. This was the first major shift. Future labor in the form of future taxes became collateral. The government wasn't borrowing gold anymore. It was borrowing time. And the people didn't vote on it. The rise central banks learned the trick. Fast forward to the 20th century. World War I shattered gold standards. Governments suspended convertibility to print money for war. World War II finished the job. After the war, Bretton Woods tried to restore discipline, but only partially. The US dollar was tied to gold. Other currencies were tied to the dollar. Then came 1971. When the US closed the gold window, money officially detached from physical limits. From that moment on, money became a promise about the future, not a claim on the past. Central banks gained a new power. They could create money based on expectations of future productivity, and governments learned the most powerful trick of all. If debt grows slower than future labor, it appears sustainable, so they borrowed more. Cause and effect: how time became a financial asset. Here's how the system works, step by step. 1. Governments issue bonds. These bonds promise future repayment with interest. 2. Central banks buy those bonds, often with newly created money. 3. Money enters the economy today, while repayment is pushed decades into the future. 4. Future taxpayers become the guarantee, not individually, but collectively. No one signs a contract. No one opts out. The assumption is simple. People will work in the future. Therefore, their labor can be borrowed against today. This is how time is monetized. The breaking point: when the future arrives early, this system works until it doesn't. The breaking point isn't when debt exists. It's when future labor fails to grow fast enough. Population slows. Productivity stagnates. Aging demographics reduce workers per retiree. Suddenly, the math breaks. Governments face impossible choices. Raise taxes gives reduced incentives to work. Cut spending gives risk social unrest. Inflate currency gives silently extract value. Most choose inflation.
Why?
Because inflation doesn't feel like taxation, even though it is. It reduces the real value of debt by reducing the real value of future labor. Time is still being monetized, just more aggressively. Fallout: the quiet theft No one names the fallout isn't dramatic collapse, it's slow erosion. Wages lag behind prices. Savings lose purchasing power. Young generations work longer for less. The strange part, people blame themselves. They think they are falling behind individually, not realizing the system was designed to pull future effort into the present. Housing becomes unaffordable because it stores future income streams. Education becomes debt-based because it extracts future productivity. Retirement becomes uncertain because future promises outnumber future workers. The system didn't fail. It succeeded too well. Failed fixes why every solution makes it worse. Every proposed fix repeats the same logic. Lower rates gives encourage borrowing. Stimulus gives borrow from the future to fix the present. Debt restructuring gives push obligations further forward. Even austerity fails because cutting spending reduces future growth, shrinking the very labor base the system depends on. The system can't stop borrowing from time because it has no alternative. Money is no longer tied to what was created. It's tied to what must be created later. Modern parallels the data that reveals the pattern. Look at the numbers. Global debt exceeds 300% of world GDP. Some nations would need 100+ years of surplus to repay. Central banks now hold trillions in government bonds. Younger generations face lower real wages despite higher productivity. This isn't accidental. It's the logical outcome of monetizing time. Every crisis accelerates it. Every emergency justifies pulling more value from the future. The pattern repeats because the incentive structure never changes. The reveal what was really collateralized. So what exactly was used as collateral? Not gold, not oil, not land, human time. The assumption that people will wake up, work, pay taxes, and accept the rules decades into the future. The system runs on trust, not just in currency, but in obedience. That trust is starting to crack. 3. TAKAWAIS first. Money today is a claim on labor tomorrow. Understanding this changes how you see debt, inflation, and policy. Second, the system isn't evil, it's fragile. It depends on growth that history shows cannot continue forever. Third, when future labor can't support past promises, the adjustment always happens, either visibly or quietly. Warning: the question no one asks, what happens when people realize their future was sold before they arrived? History shows two outcomes: reform or rupture. And the choice is rarely made calmly. Call to a CTO and if this changed how you see money, debt, or time itself. Subscribe. This channel exists to decode the systems that shape your life quietly. Because once you understand how time was monetized, you start protecting it. That might be the most valuable asset left.